We fixin' to make this town real smoking.
We are once again going to be talking about story details for Tekken 8. With this video, I am doing my due diligence because the last time that I discussed story, there were some things that I missed. And not because I missed it, but because the Japanese translation has way more detail than the English translation. Thank you to the people on Twitter who pointed this out. In Jin Kazama's story, some of the things that they left out in the English translation is one, how he has the devil gene and he does not want it. But two, the part that I want to pick up, it says, although Azel was defeated, Jin also lost consciousness and fell into a long sleep. And in the meantime, the world was seized by force by Kazuya Mishima and G Corporation. A few months later, Jin regained consciousness and he was able to control the power of the devil gene. Here's a theory. Here's a crazy theory. All of Tekken 7, Jin Kazama was sleeping. A lot of people think that Jun Kazama won't actually show up in the story, that maybe he will be envisioning things. And I could see we get in Tekken 7 from his perspective. Basically, Tekken 7 through his dreams. Jun Kazama, Devil Jin reaching his hand out trying to help him. All these things possibly can be happening while Jin Kazama is sleeping in his dreams. Meanwhile, you have Kazuya and Heihachi fighting one another. I think this is really interesting that once he wakes up, he has control over it. Skipping over to Jun Kazama now. One detail that was left out in the English translation is a paragraph that says, one detail that was not in the English translation that I want to read says, and the two people that met in the King of Arthur's tournament were attracted to each other. A lot of you guys was making fun of this in the comment section. Attracted to each other? Kazuya and Jun Kazama had a baby. And here it says, Jun was pregnant with Jin, so it adds that bit on. But it also says, after that, I raised Jin. I like how it says I because this is like Jun Kazama talking, speaking. Once again, this is something that we already knew, but I just think it's interesting how it kind of frames it from the perspective of Jun Kazama. The next one that I want to talk about is King. Now King, I'll give a short summary. King runs an orphanage. He also competes in like the WWE of Tekken, but now with all the war and destruction, there's a bunch of children who needs homes. At the end of the English translation, it was talked about how he wanted to step outside of the ring, outside of the lights to try to get more money. Picking up where the English translation left off, it says, in order to do that, King was taught that he needed a collaborator, honed his body and professional wrestling skills in preparation for an encounter with people who agree with his ideas. It doesn't say who the collaborator is, but King is basically meeting up with someone, some people we don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if some of those people he's paired up with is also playable in the game. And this is also something, if you guys watch the live stream, that I said they should do. Some of the new characters that's added in Tekken 8 should connect to the characters that we already have. You know, Paul Phoenix, King, Yoshimitsu. They shouldn't be their own whatever characters pulled from the ether. You should connect these characters so the story overall is more connected. And it seemed like that's exactly what they're doing with King. Now this is the big one. I saved this one for last because this one is the heavy hitter. I read Kazuya's bio in the English translation, but this Japanese translation is wild. So I'm gonna read the whole thing top to bottom so you guys can see exactly what's happening. Kazuya tries to control the world as a representative of the G Corporation company by freely manipulating the powers of the devil. He took down Heihachi, he swooped in, shut down the Mishima Zaibatsu, and now Lars and Jin, they only have Yggdrasil and also violet systems to use to their advantage. Here's where the new stuff comes in. But after that, G Corporation continued to invade and push forward the seas of the world by force. The International Cooperation Alliance, which is not in a good situation, will gather leaders from all over the world in New York to try and adopt a resolution to impose sanctions against G Corporation. However, Kazuya, who suddenly appeared at the venue, declared the continuation of the battle and forced G Corporation's army to enter and envelop the city of New York in flames. Now this explains a lot. One, this explains why Kazuya and Jin Kazama is fighting all over New York. The whole entire city is destroyed. And that's because basically that's the last of the people who are going against Kazuya. All of his enemies met in one location and he flooded the whole city with soldiers and just reinforcements and just destroyed it, right? I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Lita in this meeting, Dragunov in this meeting, just a lot of the characters who are like government officials, Raven and or Master Raven, In this meeting, I wouldn't be surprised if Kazuya shows up and addresses all of them, and we see a big fight scene of some sort. We're getting little drops of story here and there, and Tekken 8 is shaping up to be one of the best Tekkens ever when it comes to story. In this video, I just want to do my due diligence and go back and share some of the information that was left out with you guys once again. But thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. I'll see you in the next one, and bye bye.